GC News, Mima Obibia Akwawa. I had here latest and hot news in Kwa Eramede Bremo. Eluti, so we can subscribe here. Bomodi say over subscribe to their channel. Yobe say over click the subscribe button. Now obey notification or you sa new video be upload no. When the first person I want sabeka video. I feel we are like video to give us a thumbs up, Nafi. Shema of first room be here and say had here latest and hot news ukwana de Bremo. Afriyie mbura ye enseminu. Ye hwe eye ensema abeto ye proso. Yiti ye sankumo ye koso nsemi ababetu ga yiti.
How the power of the executive can actually interfere with the judicial process by certain statements they make. Yeah. Is that what you think happened with the Cecilia Dampare case?
Oh, yes. And wasn't accidental. That is the blueprint President Akufo Addo has been operating with. And it's sad that everybody seems to be quiet because people are privy to the fact that this corruption era that we have unfortunately catapulted ourselves into is a deliberate creation by the establishment just for people to make money. I've seen leaders from the start. I have never believed that President Akufo Addo is really a leader.
You have never believed that?
No.
Why?
He wasn't.
What did you see?
Because this is a man whose whole presidency was premised on fraud, on deception from the word go. Because I have listened to President on their maiden edition. This is a man who has, for the several years at the political fringes, convinced Ghanaians that he had something to offer. And eventually he was given the opportunity. If I'm president today, I don't need a script because I know the problems. I'm quite familiar. It's just a matter of just looking to the faces of my people, speak to their heart, speak to their minds. You enlist their support for a takeoff as a president because you need to work with the people. The first edition, his maiden edition, the speech, he stole speeches from about 3 different American presidents. They had their vision, they had their own distance, and then the president got away with it.
I ask you to be citizens.
I ask you to be citizens.
Citizens, not spectators.
Citizens, not spectators.
Citizens, not subjects.
Citizens, not subjects.
Responsible citizens, building communities of service and a nation of character.
Responsible citizens, building your communities and our nation.
Though our challenges are fearsome, so are our strengths.
Though our challenges are fearsome, so are our strengths.
Americans have ever been a restless, questing, hopeful people.
Ghanaians have ever been a restless, questing, hopeful people.
And we must bring to our task today the vision and will of those who came before us.
And we must bring to our task today the vision and will of those who came before us.
And to me, that was the biggest sin that we've committed against this country. Because see, there is a historical background to this. If I take you back to the United States of America in, I think, 1988, the current president of America today, Joe Biden, he launched his campaign in 1988, and he was in a poor position to be president of America. He was leading almost all the polls. Do you know what happened? He committed textual infidelity, what you call plagiarism, by he took a statement from one labor leader
without paraphrasing it.
Yes, without paraphrasing or without attributing to the person. As a result of this, his whole presidency got crashed and he was forced to resign. Because you see, presidency is a serious business. It must thrive on respect, that kind of decency. So at any point in time, if anything can be taken away in terms of value, in terms of principle, you lose your leverage. And it's the reason why Joe Biden couldn't. He went into political hibernation. It was who? It was this African guy, Obama, who revived his political fortunes and eventually became president of America. You understand? That is how serious some of these things are. This is a president who's in his maiden edition stole somebody's speech, and until date, even the decency to approach Ghanaians and apologize, he never.
Yeah.
And you see, you've seen the trend, the consistency from that day till now. It has been fraud upon fraud upon fraud upon fraud, deception upon deception. So the president is a fraud theory. And he's running this country from that particular doctrine. And I think where we are today, I'm not sure anybody is surprised, because he has never shown or done anything that point to the fact that he's really a leader who is really committed and passionate about the good people of this country. When he was coming, he was accusing his predecessor, John Mahama, of running family and friends. Ghanaians bought into it. Ghanaians gave Akufo Addo that opportunity, come and change things. In the history of this country, there is no president who has ever appointed so many of his family people, and today they easily find justification for some of these things. They will tell you that they qualify. Who doesn't qualify? If it's just about certificate, even those of us here, everybody can produce a certificate. You understand? There is a reason why they say cronyism is an example of political corruption. Because if you appoint your family member, direct cousin, as a finance minister, you will not have the political will to crack the whip on that person in an event things go wrong. And in recent times, we've seen it. If you go back to Tunisia, there is this president, Ben Ali. He tried it. Eventually, the guy got deposed. He ran away from the country. It didn't turn out well. So countries take cue from some of these things, and it informs the way and manner you run things. But no. Look at where we are today. And if you look at the mess that Ghana is sitting in currently, most of it were created by these family friends that were brought on board. For instance, Ken Ofori Atta. This is a guy who, within a short space of 4 years, was able to contract about 13 billion in bonds. Today, go pick him and ask him, what did you use that money for? He will not be able to tell you anything sensible, but he's gotten away with it. Even when he got to a point, his own party people were putting pressure on the president. Mr. President, you see, the trust, the economy of a country thrives on trust, and that kind of confidence that investors and other people have in the economy and personnel who are running it. At some point in time, we lost that leverage. It's the reason why we couldn't go to the bond market. It was the reason why all the credible rating agencies like Moody's, Fitch, S&P, they all downgraded to a junk status. So there was no way we could get out there to say we're going to borrow. We defaulted on external debt. Ghana's biggest bilateral creditor is China. We were begging them to forgive our debt. We were begging all. Look at Ghana. Ghana used to be a shining star of Africa, and Ghana. We were a model when it comes to democracy. Countries take cue from us. Today, we have become an embarrassment in the league of global affairs. This is Ghana for you. And all this came about because of these individuals, because they felt that they are not running Ghana. They felt that their uncle is running a certain village pharmacy, and they've been brought on board to come and just be salesmen doing business. So at the end of the day, if your uncle's pharmacy shop in a village, you can choose to do whatever. When people buy, you decide you can choose not to put the money in whatever you're supposed to keep the money. You keep it. So by the time you realize the whole pharmacy thing is gone, there is nothing, because people have pocketed the money, and it's exactly what is playing out. And you see, every country run on some principles and some decency. You see, the political class will always do whatever that they want to do. But there are people we tag as conscience of society. We have the civil society organizations. We have the clergies. Over the years, we saw them, how influential, how powerful, and how critical some of them were, especially in 2016 when John Mahama was president. I remember when John Mahama was attempted to bring the Getmo, some people yes. One of the clergy made a certain statement. He said the president then should exercise common sense in tandem with, if you're exercising compassion, exercise it in tandem with common sense. They were all over the place, very vocal, very critical, and to me, I felt that was right, because we all have stake in this country. If things are not going right, or if something, you have the right to speak. But today, everybody has gone into hibernation.
Why is that? The speculation. They say everybody has their price.
Yes.
Into whatever it is, you can silence people with monetary incentives or money itself.
Yes. And
do you think that's what is happening? That all of a sudden, even top people
Yeah, I think that is exactly what is happening. You see, if you want money, I've been telling people that never make money an incentive or a motivation to go into a leadership position. Because when you get there, you get the money in abundance, and at the end of the day, you forget what you're supposed to do. That's exactly what the president is doing. He dreamed and envisaged of wanting to be president, but he never realized that the presidency comes with the responsibility. So he's been president with that responsibility. It's the reason why you see this mess in his wake. And back to the clergies. You see, like you said, everybody has his price. But if you have conviction, if you believe in what you're doing, if whatever that you're doing, your passion is rooted in the welfare of the people, trust me, you will never allow your conscience to be bought. Because when you stand true to yourself and your conviction, at the end of the day, whatever be the case, you will prevail. And it's exactly what we are mixing. For instance, we live in a country where this galamsey thing has become quite some kind of a social cancer. Because with my health background, I know the implications. The cyanide, poisoning, and a whole lot of stuff. I know people who are on dialysis, kidney disease, and a whole lot of stuff. We are all privy to these things. And it's not as if those who are doing galamsey do come from China or any other country. They are not any average Ghanaian. They are big politicians. People who belong to the top echelon of the political establishment. We know their names, we know their companies, we know where they operate, we know their concessions. And these are the realities. And then you have men of God who are supposed to look into the president's face and tell him, Jack, put your house in order. Because all the investigations come and point to the fact that the people doing these things do come from your background. Then men of God rather decided to go to the field to go and pray, sing Yanara Yasasini.
Sebe ye biatwa so nimbiatwa so kutu krani nebe semi kumya ediem bremu dem yasasinu dem atuse omayi seriyo oyese na ose omafubra neche omayi seriyo
So if I'm a young man learning from the political landscape, wanting to take a cue from these people, do you think it will be right for me to just see these people as a role model? Because I see them as jokers. Because you see, galamsey, you will never go to a site and find a devil doing galamsey or a witch or maybe a spiritual thing. They are human beings. You can touch them, blood and flesh. So it's just a matter of going after them. But these people, instead of them to look at the president in the face, but today all of them are on various boards, making money. So you see, the motivation from the word go wasn't about compassion, wasn't about the welfare of the people. It was about money. Yeah. And because the society is largely gullible, we don't. That is why I don't want people to take advantage of this messy situation and all of a sudden emerge as a leader. You see, people who emerge on days like this don't turn out to be good leaders, because you see, they see themselves as an accidental leader. There is a mess that has been created. Let me just go take advantage of it. At the end of the day, by the time you get to know their true color, things will be late, you understand? But leadership is a serious business. If you go to places like China and stuff, you see, there is this deliberate, conscious effort to build the next line of leaders so that they will take the country from one realm to other, so that they will take the development to a different level.
What surprised me, just to go back a bit with this galamsey thing that you're talking about, there are people out there, like you said, we know them.
Yes.
Big people, we know them. But you see how they charge on the demonstrators?
Yes.
And they have been detained for what?
Yes.
I don't know, 14 days?
Yes.
Without bail.
14 days.
And when I put on my social media that I stand with them, I got some backlash from people saying, are you supporting they are destroying public property?
Yes.
You know, I said, okay, maybe a few could have misbehaved and destroyed one or two. But do you think destroying the public environment and the rivers and the trees, that's okay?
Yes. Yes, to them that's okay. And they want everybody to be a dog of power. tie you to a leash so that they can string control you. They think everybody is cheap. But you see, you've gotten to a point where people have seen a lot. And there are people who are willing to stand up to whoever that is causing this kind of stuff. For instance, this demonstration and protestation.
You are watching Juicy News
eventually, if there is
YouTube.
anybody
Hot
to be
news
blamed
all
for
time.
this whole
You are
galamsey
watching
mess,
Juicy
it is
News on
nobody
YouTube.
than the
Hot
president.
news all time.
Because he has created room. Because it started with a NAS investigation. When some top government officials were caught pants down, the president rather demonized, insulted, bastardized Anas. Today, what is Anas? The whole narrative Anas has been eradicated from our politics. The Anas whole concept has become irrelevant.
He called it the Anas principle
yes.
that he was going to use.
Yes, today the whole Anas concept has been trashed because he went after people he wasn't supposed to go after. So those guys were still sitting. Then he came Professor Frimpong Boateng, who did a painstaking investigation, came out with a lot of revelations, implicating a whole lot of government officials. At the end of the day, Frimpong Boateng was bastardized, he was insulted, he was demonized, and he has been trashed today. Today I'm told he's moving from one court to another. They've taken him to court and aside him. Then there are a lot of revelations coming up. The president has failed to act. He has remained impotent in the face of all these emerging facts. And the sad aspect of it all is that if you look at what is happening today, the president through LI 2462, I'm sure you're quite aware of, 2020, it was passed in 2022.
Okay, LI.
That gives the president the leverage, the power to exercise certain discretionary authority. Look at Kwaku in the face and say, Kwaku, I am giving you the authority. Go to the forest reserve, go and mine. It is the president. And as we speak, the president has given authorization power to 10 companies, and they are in the forest reserve mining. As we speak, there are about 35 and counting companies that are on the radar seeking executive approval from the president, because the law says that the president can exercise that discretionary power and give it to them. So if people are mining in the forest reserve, the person to be blamed is the president.
He gave the authority.
It's the reason why he remains so impotent and clueless in the face of all these things. And it has gotten to a point where some Ghanaians have taken the matter into their hands, like these young people you saw. They were not asking much. They were asking the president to do the right thing, stop the galamsey menace, because people who are in the bush are your people. Then the president, who over the years gained popularity through demonstration, protestations, and remonstrations, which are legitimate constitutional tools you can pluck from our constitution to protest, today has imprisoned young people. He has given them prison custody for merely protesting on certain flimsy charges that they were destroying public property. Which property? As we speak, has they been able to tell us which property they caused destruction to?
Well, I think Belamun did it's a very fantastic job when there was a communicator spinning that 10 people died because they had blocked the access to 37. And Belamundi called the National Ambulance Service, who came to say, we don't have any such information.
Yes.
Nothing like that happened.
Yes. Yes, that is the level of deception. It's just, to the MPP and the current government, they think just control the narrative, and that's okay. So all that they do is to spin the narrative. Unfortunately, they have enough cash to pay spin doctors to spin the narrative. So when you wake up on radio, on TV, you see the old traditional media still doing what they do best, trying to change the narrative just to paint a certain dignified image about the government. That is what they are doing. But the reality is that these young people are not asking for much. They are telling you to fix the environment, make sure people don't destroy our forests. Because I have already mentioned the other side of it, the health implications and the kind of stuff that we are going through. So it is your job. But today, somebody who gained popularity through demonstration and protestation have the audacity to instruct the IGP, who himself, I don't know, they've all become stooges. They've become toys in the hands of the president, and he can just strict control them anytime. And I am so much disappointed in the Chief Justice, a woman. Got proud to her coming. I was somebody who was so much disappointed about the state of our judicial system, because at some point in time, our whole judicial enterprise became a subject of public ridicule. You go on social media, they tag them unanimous 5. It wasn't a good description. So the integrity of the judiciary was being dragged through the mud.
Such a sacred institution.
Exactly. So when she came, my admonition was that take the opportunity, to recycle the rotten image of our judiciary. But unfortunately, she's allowed herself to be used as a stooge, being string control, because there is no reasonable justification or basis, any reasonable basis for the detention of these young people. You deny them bail, prison custody for 2 weeks. For what? For what offense?
Because they protested against galamsey.
Yes.
That's their offense.
Yes, and to them, they prioritize politics. You see, eventually, the police have prosecutorial power. Over the years, the police have the power to prosecute people on cases like misdemeanor and stuff. This is a misdemeanor because to charge somebody for a second-degree felony, the cost of, they say, destruction to property, the cost valuation must be around 1 million Ghana cedis thereabout. But who did the valuation? So there is no reasonable justification. It's just it's a crackdown, and that is consistent with the blueprint of the Akufo Addo. You see, this whole narrative, when it started, it's been Akufo Addo featuring. If somebody is watching and you're fortunate, you might think we don't like the president, but that is not a fact. We are speaking to issues. That is the blueprint that he has been operating. He started a crackdown on the media, dissenting views, dissenting opinions, people who disagree with me. I will go after them. So if you speak against the president, his government, or whoever, then they will put a target at your back. Today, as you speak, a renowned journalist who was doing his underground very distant investigation is nowhere to be found. Ameswale, he is dead. And as we speak, not even a dog has been arrested. Anas, I told you, has been bastardized. There are a good number of journalists who have been harassed, intimidated, threatened. Some at some point in time had to flee this country under a president who claimed to be a human rights lawyer. I think we are in a messy situation, and I'm advocating that we need to wake up. You see, you can belong to whichever political party you want. To me, political parties are good. They are vehicles that we use to capture political power, but don't lose your conscience.
Thank you.
Don't lose yourself. Yeah. At the end of the day,
thank you.
At the end of the day, the destination is Ghana. We need to wake this sense of patriotism and nationalism within us and realize that this NDC, MPP, independent, whatever, the destination is Ghana. We need to make Ghana a better place. Today, people dream going to America. America didn't just emerge from anywhere. People sat down, consciously constructed America to fit the description they wanted. Some got sacrificed along the line. Some people got killed. With the State of the Union and a whole lot of stuff, people got killed, but they knew where they were going. We need to start something. To me, the Ghanaian dream is possible, but one person cannot do it. It will take a concerted effort. It doesn't matter who you are, a doctor, a professor, you are a driver, Uber driver, whoever. It will take a concerted effort as people to build this country. And that is the only way. Giving ourselves up to this excessive partisan activism will not take us anywhere. It will rather divide, divide us. And always, whenever we are divided, it creates strength for people to capitalize on that strength to do whatever that they do. So the excesses that you see people do with impunity, the power that you see people are just abusing it here and there, they are doing it because of the strength that our division has created. It is giving the leverage. But if we come to the realization and become reasonable and very sensible and say, hey, beyond the NDC, the MPP, this is our country, Ghana. And that is the need for us to take matter into our own hands. And
we have a big election coming up on December 7th. What do you see?
Oh, I think if you look at the level of desperation and the whole state of this country, I expect Akufo Addo and his whole thing to go home so that they will be held responsible and accountable. And I'll be very much disappointed. Whoever takes over as president, let them go free. Because you see, when I started this conversation, I told you a state cannot show weakness, you cannot show mercy. Over the years, that is what we've been doing. When Professor Mills came, I'm told there were a number of people who were lined up for him to prosecute them. He said, oh, blah, blah, blah. He left them off the hook. If you do that, you're not doing anybody good. You are building a state of impunity. And that impunity is what has resulted in where we are today. So I am expecting that this government will exert power so that we can hold them responsible and accountable. Over the years, we've been advocating these people are corrupt, these people are blah, 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 blah. So at the end of the day, if we don't hold them accountable and make them answer, it means that whoever is taking charge is coming to continue the same thing. And at the end of the day, it will be like an exchange. You come steal, I come steal. That is the cycle that we need to break. That is the cycle that we need to break. The cycle of corruption, the cycle of greed, the cycle of winner takes all, the cycle of I want to be in control.
Not only takes all, winner knows all.
Winner knows all. If you are sitting on the sidelines, you are counted irrelevant. You can't make contribution. But you see, leadership governance is not an individual enterprise. It takes collective effort for us all. So for me, people have been asking, who do you think should win the election and who do you think will do things right? I quote Rollins when he said, it doesn't matter even if you bring the devil to the house. It is us, the people. We are the very people who are destined to protect the foundations of our democracy. We are the very people empowered. We are Ghanaians. Nobody will come and protect this country aside us. So we should see ourselves as sentinels destined to protect the foundations of our democracy. And if we rise and we wake up, trust me, nobody can take advantage of us. But if we continue to lie low, to be buried, just like we've been doing, people will come, capitalize on that weakness and do the excesses. So whatever that is happening to us, we cannot take ourselves from the picture. We are part of it because we gave Akufo Addo power. We gave him the energy to do whatever that he's doing. But if we rise, come to the realization that Ghana is ours, irrespective of where we stand, we'll go after whoever becomes president. Trust me, whoever becomes president will do the right thing.
Yeah, my final question, because our time is almost there. Does it come with political maturation? I mean, how long will it take us to get there, or you think we are there or almost there in terms of independent thinking, critical thinking? I don't care, I am NPP, I am NDC, but these policies won't work. They won't help the country. Like you are saying, Ghana is a destination.
Yes,
do you think we are there?
You see, the reason why we are not there yet has to do with economic independence. We don't have it. If you don't have economic independence, somebody, the person who controls the purse controls your mind. You understand? That is the point. That is why we've been advocating that we need to open up incentive, create incentive for people to take advantage.
But until that happens, we are not there yet.
No. So the political education and a bit to ensure they do that particular thing, and we eventually get there. It's a process. It's a ball in rolling, and we eventually get there. But you see, I told you, poverty in Africa is not a mistake. It's a strategy. It's a political tool that is being used to impoverish young people so that always and always we will be at the beck and call of those in power. So if we gain that independence, then we gain that mental independence.
No, I agree with you, 100%. 100%. I've seen people on TV.
Because you see an honorable...
That's the whole mentality.
And
you know?
If you go to a constituency, an MP will go on weekend and you see the lineup. People going to him. Honorable, I'm going to marry. Honorable, I'm doing this. Honorable. So I know that they think that is all that power is about. But power is about creating incentives for people to leverage. Because there are a lot of people, there is no single human being living on this planet that is devoid of potential. We all have our potential. But sometimes, depending on where you're coming from, some people have a backup. Some of us, where we are coming from, we are the backup. When we fail, everybody fails. We don't have any backup. So you take matters into your hands, you understand? So you create that incentive, people with that particular thing, they leverage, I know that they become somebody, you understand? But these things have been taken away. So if you feed, there are a lot of young people, even paying for their rent, they need to call somebody for help. And you have a government telling you that I'm going to give you money to rent. We are not beggars. Young people in Ghana are not beggars. Create the incentive, let them work. They will get money to pay. You understand? I think this is the kind of conversation that we need to activate. But the media is not helping, especially the traditional media.
Well, thank you very much. You said it all.
Yo, it's when it ends somewhere about the toy, so because you see you so and now no so when you subscribe or more subscribe to the channel. This answer had it later and hot news in Kwa and I'm a Premo. I feel we are not like a video no nothing. Share my offer for sooner when you be here. Now who ends somewhere and Koso Ewo Dara Memaro. Also, bet me actually working after a year and somewhere in our home. I will comment box them. Mobati Ninkabi in my next video.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.